Good evening, friends. Welcome to yet another Gord's Poetry Show. Midwinter, and it's darn chilly up here. Just in the not too recent past, got my musculature aching with a little show snuffling. Show snuffling. I bet you didn't get that. Anyway, here we are, ready to luxuriate in some beautiful language. Last week was one heck of a week for much loved celebrities passing on. And in the midst of all that, wild-eyed boy from Free Cloud dancing away from our yearning grasp, the Canadian poet P.K. Page passed on. And I'd like to dedicate this show to her and start with a couple of her poems. From the Essential P.K. Page book, edited by Arlene Lampert and Thea Gray. This is The Hidden Room. I have been coming here since I was born, never at my will, only when it permits me. Like the Bodleian, like the web, like Borges Aleph, it embodies all. It is in a house, deeply hidden in my head. It is mine and not mine. Yet if I seek it, it recedes down corridors of ether. Each single version is like and unlike all the others. A hidden place in cellar or attic, matrix of evil and good. A room disguised as a non-room, a secret space. I am showing it to you, fearful you may not guess its importance, that you will see only a lumber room, a child's bolt hole, will not know it as prism, a magic square, the number 9. Like a cruise ship. It is like a cruise ship bursting into flower, or a municipal building intricately blooming, and its myriad miniature petals blink as I pass. Each year it grows more courageous, spreads itself unpruned, untended, a vegetable amphitheater with pizzicato blossoms binking in the air. "Oh tree," I say as I whiz past, bowing. I bow. I whiz, powered by some high-octane fumeless fuel that spring has invented. "Oh tree," I say, "tree, tree." And the word is new, another of spring's inventions, newer than biots or quarks or nanoseconds. The selves. Every other day I am an invalid. Lie back among the pillows and white sheets, lackadaisical. Oh, lackadaisical. Brush my hair out like a silver fan. Allow myself to be wheeled into the sun. Calves' foot jelly, a mid-morning glass of port. These I accept, and rare azaleas in pots. The nurses humor me. They call me dear. I am pilled and pillowed into another sphere, and there my illness rules us like a queen, is absolute monarch, wears a giddy crown, and I, its humble servant at all times, am its least serf on occasion, and excluded from the feast. Every other day, I am as fit as planets circling. I brush my hair into a golden sun, strike roses from a bush, rare plants in pots blossom within the green of my eyes. I am enviable. Oh, I am enviable. Somewhere in between the two, a third wishes to speak, cannot make itself heard, stands unmoving, mute, invisible, a bolt of lightning in its naked. Well, Patricia Kathleen, I salute your many decades of great writing, and I wish you a bon voyage. Don Coles has a new book out, at least it looks new to me. It's called A Serious Call. Yes, 2015, but new. Don Cole's been writing for a long time, almost as long as PK Page. Not quite, but getting close. And he always rewards our attention. Aschenbach in Toronto. Every Wednesday she came by and apologized like a schoolgirl, although she was not really late, smiling and pushing back her long hair. She had been reading Musil or Lessing, or could it be Mann? And there might be some query about the lecture of the day before, or she would mention to him that moment by the sea, on the beach at the Lido, where the celebrated author is hallucinating in his deck chair. And by now they would be undoing each other, and as their bodies came open, there would only be a minute or so left for this, their mouths preempted, except for slight and perfunctory syllables. But still that image beckoned, and still the little subdued slap of the Adriatic mingled with the air conditioning, so that even on the office couch, or held up against some noticed space, when love was prompting her, she would see what he had seen. A kind of god, a stunning boy as the sun paused, turning to look back from the curling shore. But it meant nothing. It was youth, and she was impatient with anyone who knew so little. If she could intercept that glance from the deck chair, oh, not to be seen by it, but to become it. And at the thought of this, of pouring forth out of that cache of mind, collecting beach and sun and stunning boy, and returning inside to test these against the thronged images. Think of it, always there, always ardent for the light. And teeming stacked up rhythms of that severe, unswerving life. Why, she can hardly wait. That is why she's here. This is not Venice, and not exactly an aloof genius either, but it's the closest she can get to things so boundless she could spend her whole life investigating them. As for him, watching her dress, and now the brief pause, and turn to look back towards him from the door, he's reminded of something, a motion perhaps, some gesture. What is it, he wonders, watching although she is gone. He leans forward in his chair by the sea. Thank you, Don. I too remember going to see Death in Venice. 40 years ago? Or more, even, perhaps, maybe. Brecken Hancock, a new poet to me. Broom, broom. And you'd think, oh, one of those, strange little coach house eccentricities. But actually, no. It's a quote from Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. I forget the word to make a broom once more, is the quote from the Once More poem. But I'm not going to read that one. I'm going to read another one called Lag. Lag. Grief is a door, strange how feral. It locks twice, tooth and tooth against the jamb, and seals this house, oniric shell where all of Bach digests at once. Top stair, a cockatiel-headed angel bobs to 10 by each climb of the clock. 13th floor, mummy can't sleep. Turn and turn she loses time, legs entwine in bed sheets. This door, dimensional pleat between us, as simple as the desire to pass through. But no, there's a debt she owes the farther side. Agape, affixed, afire, it doesn't matter. And even though her body's lying near, I can't hear my mom. I fear what she feels. I pray that she's numb. Brecken Hancock. Mark Frutkin has a new book. We've read from him before on earlier poetry shows. His new one is called Hermit Thrush. Published by Quattro Books. Nothing stays still. Nothing stays still. The slightest breeze quickens light in branches and leaves, while the sun and moon never rest from their great curving thoughts that never rest. Nothing stays still. Nothing that lives stays still. Even in death we go wisping and flitting about in dreams, shooting star ghosts. Nothing stays still. The clock climbs Everests of midnight and noon, descends each hour to the bottom of the sea. Nothing stays still. Red tulips in the vase execute a slow 3-day prostration. Yes, I have some calla lilies here, not quite prostrate yet, but they're leaning towards the computer from right up there somewhere. Excuse me a moment. Eily Mist, it's called. Monet's Garden. You'll recognize that name. 1. On Monet's bookshelf, The Flower Gardens of Europe, in 23 volumes, bursts with a surge of blooms. Mimosas, nasturtiums, narcissus, white roses, and morning glories. Each book fanned open by flowers easing their way lightward. Lotus gardenia hibiscus. 23 volumes ruptured and erupting in tangles of petal and stem. 2. Every tree, haystack, and farmhouse around Giverny has been painted over and over, photographed hundreds of thousands of times. Every iris and lavender bush in Monet's gardens, every water lily, not a single rose, pink, red, or white, can pop open in sunlight without the minor applause of cameras clicking. These flowers are not shy, but willing to pose like the ladies of Paris, who love to be admired, not noticing the water never ceases flowing under the Japanese bridge. while you aren't looking. You won't get enlightened in a monastery or cave. You'll get enlightened stomping on the gas, leaning against the wall to piss, or walking into the kitchen to the smell of burning garlic. And in the moment after, when you're filling up the tank, or zipping up your fly, or hastily turning down the stove, you'll wonder, was that it? And you'll have no idea. But life won't wait around. The dishes will have to be washed, bills paid, empty wine bottles returned, and outside the window, while you aren't looking, the petals of the lilacs will continue to drift down with the same silence that fills the night sky. Certainly agree with that, Mark. Monologue Dogs, a new book by Meira Cook, or Meira Cook, I'm not sure how that's pronounced. It's filled with rather a lot of longish multi-part poems, but I think I've found one that'll sort of fit in here in the little top pocket of Gord's Poetry Show. The Devil's Advocate. My lord and ladies, gentlemen of the jury, when you hear hoofbeats, assume horses, not zebras. This is true in almost all parts of the world, except the African savannah, where it is safer to assume zebras. Also eland, giraffes, herds of this and that. In India, assume cows. In Spain, bulls, matadors with their sun-blurred hooves. In Tuscany, angels. In Kingdom Come, horses again. Pale quartets of Wish You Were Here. My client sends his regrets. He is busy falling through blank verse for all eternity, while a mere afternoon passes in shadow over us. The sun moves from one window of the courthouse to the next, and then it's tea time. 1 sugar or 2, perhaps a bun. Stretch and yawn, and back we go. I submit for your perusal Exhibit A. This is a map of the world, of God and of everything. Above is heaven, below is hell. The future is to the right, the past to the left. My client, in his plea for mercy, wishes me to recall his salient points. His sense of humor, direction, and yes, style. His tendency to violate foreshortenings, and that finding himself irredeemably zebra, he hoofed the streets of his brawling, captious nature, kicking up dust and all the limping platitudes of this earth, our home. They tell you dreams don't come true, but they never tell you how. Nice one, I like that. The much praised, at least on this show, Bruce Meyer has come out with yet another book. I don't know how he just keeps putting them out, and they're all good. Well done, Bruce. Gosh, the last one, The Seasons, I just was ecstatic over, or close to ecstatic. Anyway, as close as you can get without being, like silly. And here's another one. It's called The Arrow of Time, and it's published by Ronsdale Press. Elegy for the Bees. If you saw a violet open with snow and purple petals, or a rose announce itself with the perfume of an uncorrupted saint, or white become more white than snow on an April day when the bees should have returned to proclaim the beginning of spring, then you would know why honey is sweeter than love, and why dawn breaking is a phrase for dew upon weeping fields. Explaining romanticism to my daughter. It is always like snow falling in the heart, and we both turn to stare out the window. Flakes descend as softly as moonlight, But in the time it takes to watch the trees, to catch the broken sky in empty hands, the wind howls around the house and cries with the pain and pity of a grieving silence, where the world must be rebuilt for life. It is the difference between the way snow fell and what it could tell you of its fall from heaven. Mm. Um, Turner seems to be coming a lot these days. I don't know if it's the Turner exhibition at the AGO or the film Mr. Turner, but he's in the racial unconscious or one of those things. Here's one from Bruce called Turner's Spectacles. By staring at the sun for years, a man learns truth in blindness, yet wears thick spectacles to see just how far an eye might reach. The presbyopic beauty of stars, the blurred image of things close. Ruskin understood Turner's light. When Turner died, Ruskin found eyewear for the far-sighted mind, for ascertaining how a painter's knife might cut a blended landscape into clouds, or blended clouds into angels, both bright and dark. In Rain, Steam and Speed, or know as that Rain, Speed and Steam, a train emerges from the hand of nature, its dark spectre harrowing the sky, the smoke choking a path through light, and its trestle marring infinite green. Turner knew the struggles of time, knew that in seeing he saw fate as it haunts a conscience to death. And his death mask is a face agape, his mind open with one last gasp to swallow the living light like water and quench the lips of a thirsting world. On closer inspection, the details speak, not the gurgling of a body drained, but the music of a rising sun, whispers of a day unnamed. Energy, said Blake, is pure delight, and despite the pain, the frailty of the human accident, life shines if only by mere candle, and the road to Babylon is paved in stars. So one learns how they can be read, and put to words the secrets they keep. Ah, yes. Last book of the show, Patrick Lane, Washita. His latest book, of course. And he's also been publishing since, I believe, the late 1940s, which is, when you think of it, a heck of a long time. I've not previously been much of a Patrick Lane fan. I find a lot of his poems too brutal and too grim, I think. But anyway, he's turned a corner, at least he has for me, and I find a more subtle and yielding beauty to his work in these late years. Solstice coming. Typing with my left forefinger today. The poem is immensely slow. One letter, one word, one line at a time. This and then this, and amazing how the images slow to an intimate crawl, each word a salamander peering from beneath a stone. The fish this winter are wraiths, the pond's perfect thoughts. I have tried to love this quiet as the hours pass through me. It is rare to feel anything deeply. My life is a feast if I allow it to be. This slow rain falls without cease. It eats the rice one drop at a time. These days my body breaks down and I cannot lift my right arm. My poems are now thin as I was when I lived in the mountains. I tried to believe the lake when I came down from the high snows. I watched the water for a long time from the safety of the trees. It was a trout rising made me see what a day is. A ripple only. The poet wanting more. It means little to me now, this confusion of poets, the everywhere of them. I think if I walked back into the blue bush country, I would find one of the caves, the ones where I used to sit in the dark, waiting. It wasn't hiding because there was no one looking for me. I was waiting. That was it, the hours in the dark. And then the coming out into the clear light of August, to the blinding. That was the best part, the quick pain in the eyes, and not closing them to what they couldn't see. It is almost enough not to write anymore. The exception being the ones who watch. The ones who watch carefully. If there is a metaphor, it would be when I sat among the snakes in one of the old hibernicula in spring. The thickness of their bodies, the dense weight in my hands as I held one of the great fathers to my ear, so I could listen to the whisper of his breathing. Like that, I think. But it's not like that anymore. Many more fine poems in that book. Perhaps we'll get back to it on the next poetry show. Mind you, I could say the same of several of the other poets here represented. The love of language and light and literature continues unabated in Canada and elsewhere. All the elsewheres, all the lovely elsewheres of this language world. And so, goodbye, friends, from this winterish edition of Gord's Poetry Show. Don't ask me the number because I can't remember. Maybe ask yourself, maybe. And to the wild-eyed boy from Free Cloud, so long.